Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
Hello and welcome everyone to Cineasta. This is the first episode of our podcast series in which we'll be generally discussing about cinema, its aspects, and various other things. So today we'll be discussing about cinema in a broader aspect. We're going to talk about how cinema is shaping the world and how it is evolving. So we have three speakers with us. We have Nimi Vaidya, aka Nimi Bhaiya. He is the coordinator of Rangmanch NU, the Theatre Society of NIT University. He loves films and series, and being a part of Theatre Society, he also loves acting. We also have Anudeep Palaparthi, who is a fellow cinema lover, and he told me to introduce himself as the admin of a meme page at Jata Entertainment. Welcome, Anudeep. Also, we have SJM, Srijita Mukherjee, another cinema fanatic. She runs a YouTube channel by the name SJM's Mix Channel. Do check it out. So welcome everyone. We'll begin our podcast, but let me tell you a few rules before we begin. Do not use any cuss words and interfere but sweetly. And happy Halloween, everyone. My first question to every one of you is, what is cinema to you? What it means to you?
So cinema, according to me, is my escapism from real life. Like I am a person who sees a lot of shit, who has been through a lot of shit, but all I can say is that cinema is my escapism from real life. It's just cinema is magic for me. Cinema can make me feel that okay, now enough of the real world. L- Let's go into a fantasy world or a fiction world for 3 or 2 hours and enjoy that as much as you can. And especially theaters help a lot in that sort of escapism. And ci- to sum it all up, cinema is nothing but an escapism from real life to me.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Nimi Bhaiya,
Yeah,
what does cinema mean to you?
cinema is actually cinema to me is a reflection of what is reality. There are films which are over the top, like they can see Marvel movies, which are like uh, they are not reality, but people do enjoy that. I also enjoy those movies like that, but for in a deeper sense, cinema should give out a message or reflect what is actually happening in our society, in our real life, the problems which we are facing, because there is no powerful medium of communication than cinema for me.
Okay, so Srijita, what do you have to say? What does cinema
Uh,
mean to you?
for me, I think cinema is storytelling. We can talk about anything, about a person or just an event, anything. And in the end, it's all about transmitting a few emotions to the viewers, which is quite difficult because there are so many things involved in one cinema. There's screenplay writing, direction, production, actors, lights, sound, so many things just to present one story that everyone can not relate to, but can at least feel something, empathize with the character, or understand what is going on, transmitting a few emotions to the viewers. I think that is what cinema is.
Yeah, we got some great answers for that. So, Anudeep, you said cinema is for you is escapism from real life. So, you definitely must have films that must have given you the best experience, maybe given you the best experience that is very good related to the world that you live in. So, I'd like to ask, what is your favorite memory of a film? Like which made you feel like exhilarated? What is that favorite memory of a film associated with a film?
There are a lot of movie memories that is associated to a movie or movies in general for me, but off the top of my mind, all I can say is that it was, I guess, around 2018, when I was in my 12th standard. And what happened was, we have a board exam on March 22nd or something, and you know how parents are, they be like, study from 2 months before the board exams and stuff. So my parents were all strict and told me to, give them my phone away, give them my laptop away so that I could actually study and stuff. But what happened was, on, I guess, February 22nd or February 14th, I don't remember the date exactly, forgive me for that. There were these two movies that were released. Those are that is like the Telugu movie and Black Panther. And you know how huge a Marvel fan I am. Apologies for Nimi Baya who thinks they are over the top, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of Marvel movies. So I actually said this to my mom that I want to watch that movie no matter what. Just excuse me for that one day, and I'll study double the amount of time from the next day, which didn't happen obviously. But yeah, I gave her some false promise that I went to my friend's house for a combined study, which you all know is a code word for wasting time away or passing time away. So my friend decided, asked me, "Do you want to go to this Telugu movie?" I was like, "Well, yeah, dude, but I'm going to this Black Panther movie, so is this time going to match?" Because Black Panther movie show was around 4:30 and this movie was around 2. But when we saw the runtime on Book My Show, it's like 1.5 hours. So I was like, okay, it can be matched. I can rush into Black Panther, so it's no big deal. So we went to the movie, and that movie blew my mind away. That movie blew my mind away. I sat there after the movie finished for like 5 minutes with my mouth open and actually thanked my friend for taking me to this movie. Then I went and watched Black Panther, which was, a great movie. Not anything new, but a great movie nonetheless. Chadwick's movie. And while going to the Black Panther movie, I was in the lift of a PVR, PVR cinemas, and the electricity got cut off, and I was forced to stay in the lift for 5 minutes with around 10 more people. It was so suffocating, but once the lift started running, I started going to the Black Panther movie, and that day in a whole was just something else. Like, it was the first movie that I sneaked out for not telling my parents for that. So that is kind of memorable to me. So yeah,
Definitely. Who doesn't love watching cinemas instead of exams, right?
obviously.
So, Nimi Bhaiya, you said that cinema is for you reflection of
Yeah,
real life.
yeah.
Yes. So, do you think that making a socially responsible film is a very important task in countries like India, like Raman Raghav 2.0, uh,
hmm
or maybe Kabir Singh too? Uh,
Yeah,
Both of them are not completely unrealistic, you can say.
yeah,
So yeah, but Kabir Singh did talk about some toxic masculinity and
yeah, yeah,
also glorified
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So do you think it is an important task for people, directors in India, to make a socially responsible film?
okay, so yeah, in Kabir Singh, I don't think in any way, shape, or form they glorified violence or they glorified toxic masculinity. For me, I think that's what the director was showing. The perception of the movie is another aspect for that. There are people who look at the film and get the actual message, like yes, we are not supposed to be like this. These are the problems we will be facing if we do this. And there are some people who think that yeah, he is doing this movie to provoke the young audience, to provoke people to be toxic, and it is good. It's what heroes do. Uh, that that's another aspect. But yeah, it's completely up to the director if he wants to give a socially right message, politically correct or politically incorrect message. But as yeah, movies like Avengers and all, I enjoy them. I enjoy those movies a lot. But movies like Kabir Singh Kabir Singh, Raman Raghav, basically Anurag Kashyap movies in India are which I prefer more over these kind of movies.
Okay, so you're saying that director should not give up on his art just to be socially responsible, right?
No.
So like you
Yeah,
said, na, the director can show a socially correct thing or politically incorrect thing, but
hmm
he should have the choice, right?
yes, yes.
Yes.
I
So he
yeah,
should
I
be
believe that.
independent with his art.
Yeah, he should be
Yeah.
independent with his art, and every director's targeted audience may not be the same. So
Yes.
yeah, so everyone will perceive the movie differently. Yeah, just if you think something is offensive, just move on to the stuff you like. That's my basic agenda.
Yeah. We get that. Thank you
Can
for
I
that.
interject here?
Yeah, you
What?
can, Anudeep. Sure.
Okay. So like Nimi Bhaiya said that a director should make whatever he likes. I agree on that. I agree with you on that. But he can showcase the bad, the good, the evil, the saints everywhere, anywhere or any which way he likes. But don't you think he shouldn't glorify it? For example, how Bollywood, or for that matter, the whole Indian industry itself, Indian film industry itself, glorified stalking of women and made us, let's be honest, in our childhood, we thought that, okay, if a girl says no, then we should pursue her, then we should stalk her at least once. Like, now we know it's wrong. Now we know it's wrong. But in our childhood, we got influenced by it. And we got to know it's wrong because from a position of privilege. Let's say a guy who stays in a village, he thinks that, and a girl continuously rejects him, but he stalks her. Like, they shouldn't glorify the wrong things, but they can showcase the wrong things. I agree with that, but they shouldn't glorify the wrong things is what I'm saying, what my opinion is.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, in Kabir Singh, I didn't feel like the director was trying to glorify anything. He showed a story of a man who is flawed in to honestly speaking, in many ways he was flawed, right? So
Like, he's a guy we don't want to be associated with, but we just want to see where he's going, right?
yeah,
What he's doing.
you see, seeing that movie, I wanted to know if after the movie, I wanted to know if he really changed or was he the same. So in the end, we get to know that he was trying to change. So that's what matters. That's what matters at the end of the day. If you are bad and you're trying to be good, there should be no problem with it.
I'd like to add on to that.
Yeah, sure.
Anudeep was telling us that, yeah, Bollywood does glorify stalking and stuff. But then even Nimi Bhaiya did say that in first that movies are a reflection of reality. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest. In India, I don't know what is the definition of love. Stalking is normal, I think. I don't think many people do know that stalking is not a way of showing your affection.
True.
So there's only much a direct. See, the thing is, Indian people are writing it, right? Indian people are writing it. If that person who's writing it, who's directing it, if they all live in a society where people believe stalking is all right, you get that. You get what you think, right?
get the thing about like Nimi Bhaiya said that he said he likes new stuff, realistic stuff. But all I'm saying is that it's okay. I get that. I get it. You like new stuff, but I prefer watching something that's real. You like real stuff, but I prefer watching something that's not my real life. Like if I want to
Yeah,
watch
man.
something real life, I'll live my life instead. So that's
Yeah,
how
man.
many.
Sure.
That's how
Sure,
many.
sure.
Yeah, that's how
Sure.
many
You
people
can.
watch movies too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure. You can do whatever you want. So that's why there are different kinds of films. If every person in the world is willing to watch the same thing, there wouldn't be so different, so many genres, right?
of course, I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with you on that. But all I'm saying is, there are a lot of people. There are people like this too, and there are people like you too. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
think we
Yeah.
all agree on that. We all
Yeah.
agree on that.
Yeah,
that's
we
what my
are all
closing
on the
argument
same
is.
track. Yeah, we are all on the same track, basically speaking different languages, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all talking about diversity in films and different kinds of directors and different kinds of audiences. Yeah, but yeah, another thing which leads to this very important question. Satyajit Ray sir in 90s gave an interview. If you all know of that interview, in that he said, Indian audience is backwards and unsophisticated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you? Obviously, I guess we all work trying to answer this very question, but to ask it in more detail, do you think it is still prevalent now?
So
If it is,
Yes,
if it is,
very
how
much.
are we going to change that?
See, the only way is to, I think the only way is to modernize the perception of art, the perception of cinema is to make more movies which reflect reality. The Satyajit Ray's movies very much reflected on reality, how things work and how the society is.
Mhm.
In India, there are two, basically, if you divide the audience which perceives cinema, we can broadly categorize into two categories. One is urban and one is rural. Okay, so the films like Gangs of Wasseypur, you can't reach out to the rural audience and show it to them because they've already seen it. What's more for them to see? They already lived that the miserable life, and most of the India is rural. So movies like that
Yeah.
won't do well in rural areas, right? They want to see Salman Khan kick someone in the air. They want to see his ripped body and all that. So yeah, the only way to is improve the situation we are living in, improve the people's lives is only the way I can see how.
And to that point, don't we all? There are times where we can't watch quote unquote serious movies or quote unquote art movies every single time. We need to watch some commercial movies, like you said, Salman Khan blowing stuff up in the air, or just some commercial good action flick, good no brainer flick, where we could enjoy stuff. Like for example, you and me both are Telugu, right? You have seen KGF, right? Yeah, KGF is just a total commercial movie.
Yeah.
You want to watch it when you are feeling like, okay, enough of serious stuff. Let's go into this and let's watch people blow up or people getting killed or stuff. So I mean, that's all fine. You can. All I'm saying is, we can watch this and we can appreciate this too. There are people who are pretentious, like, oh no, I don't watch this. You watch this? Nah, no, you shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. I agree because see, Race 3 is a terrible film. Okay,
Oh my God.
yeah. This is my point. Race 3 is a terrible film, but it crossed the 300 crore mark.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Why did it cross the 300 crore mark? Because the rural people of India want to see Salman Khan blow things up. Okay. That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
I wanted to talk about this thing that Satyajit Ray said. I mean, he has said that thing. I mean, you have to watch his movies. Of course, he would say that it's way ahead of his time. His
Yeah.
movie Hirokraja Deshe was a movie where people are being censored. They will have to praise the king, and the king is busy hiding dissent. And basically, the situation of many countries right now. So, of course, when Satyajit Ray says that, he's way ahead of his time, and I would say society hasn't changed at all. If the media is still ready to hide the caste-based inequality in our country, even today, people want to ignore the harsh reality of our country and just want to assume that, oh, our country is amazing in all aspects, ignoring all the harsh realities, then of course we're very ignorant, we're backward, and we don't really want to know the truth. So it still is valid today. And see, the thing is, I love commercial movies. I have watched this movie called A Gentleman. It's great. It's
Yeah,
Raj
it's
and
a
Deepika
yeah. It's a
involved
nice
in the
popcorn movie to go watch
Yeah.
and relax. Yeah,
Amazing. But the
Yeah.
thing is, commercial movies, I'm not saying commercial movies are bad. In Indian commercial movies, somehow passing derogatory comments again on a person's dress or the way they walk, be it like, oh, लड़कियों की तरह चल रहा है या इतनी छोटे कपड़े क्यों पहने हो? If we just avoid those sentences, right? We can show trucks blowing up. That's fine. I mean, it's okay. No one's asking you to moral police people around in the movie. It becomes very weird. It shows that, yeah, we still like those ridiculous jokes and we want to hear those. So that reflects the people.
So-
I mean, that shows what people want to watch, what they want to hear.
Yeah, I agree. So what you mean is be a little bit more politically correct. That's it, right?
Yeah, you don't have to be too politically correct because that's very annoying. You cannot. That's very annoying.
And then people will come out and say you're politically biased.
Yeah.
Then
We don't want
that's
that
a different
much.
problem.
Yeah. That is
So
very annoying.
yeah, so we are saying that we need to fundamentally change people right from their early age, and also bring about some responsibility in maybe commercial cinemas, like at least avoid passing on derogatory or racist comments. I
Yes.
guess
See,
with that,
in-
I remember. Yeah.
Sorry. See, in India, like, let's forget about global cinema, but in India, where we are like, what, 120, 130 crore population, most of us like cinema, most of us love cinema. Cinema is like a second, it's just a way of life for us. Like, we can't, like, right from our childhood, can we imagine a life without cinema? No, our parents inculcated that into us, because that's how impactful cinema is in India. And people should, like Jashwant said, we need to be more, they need to be more aware of the impacts, the good, the bad impacts of cinema on the people, and then they need to progress more in impacting people on a good way. And we can see the change slowly. People are getting more politically correct. People are, showing things that are not that are not good enough for the society, that's not required for our society. But we need more change. We need a faster paced change. That's
I wouldn't say that everyone in India has access to cinema, because in 2009's report, it was shown that there are only 925 screens. So I wouldn't say that everyone has access and it's a way of living. But yeah, since we have a large population, there's a large group of people who get influenced by cinema. So yeah, I mean,
that is
So we have-
2009.
I agree
That is
with you on that.
2009. This is 2020. We're almost, not many.
Double
but-
the screens, yeah.
Yeah,
We know
but
we
many-
have, I
still,
guess.
it wouldn't be
Oh
enough.
yeah,
though.
we definitely have.
But many people have access to small screens or TVs. Not many,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Ever since internet came in, I
Oh,
think everyone has access to them.
We just did not double the number of screens. I think we have multiplied it by 10 times in the past 20 to
Yeah.
12 years.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
wanted to,
Bahubali released in 3,000 plus screens, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to say
Okay.
this. I wanted to say this. There's this
Mm.
theater in my village. We didn't used to even have a theater until the late 2000s or the late 90s. So always they always used to play these old cinemas. Sorry for the word, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
they used to play these old cinemas like 5 month release okay 5 mahina ya 6 mahina hua pictures they used to release, and I always used to get bored. I watched this because I live in Hyderabad. There's no dearth of theaters in Hyderabad, so I was like I watched this before. Now do I have to watch it again? But then when the digital revolution happened, like when the satellites came into play, when the reels went out and the satellites came into play, every Friday there used to be a new movie in my village theater, and trust me, the screen is 4K quality, like 70 quality, but the
Mhm.
theater used to be like no AC, only fans, chairs, plastic chairs, benches, and people used to purchase these floor tickets too. So even theater is still like that, but the content that's coming into the theaters, especially my village, is like a bit, you know, a bit backward, like a bit backward in cultural or technological aspects. But right now they have access to smartphones, they have access to smart TVs, they have access to every new movie that 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 releases, and that happened due to that happened in the past decade. And if you think about that, in just one village, those villages which have theaters and those villages which established new theaters, it's just staggering.
Hmm. So we are basically saying that more people have access to cinema right now.
Yes,
And
they do.
Oh,
and Ramadhir Singh was very much true when he said, "जब तक इस देश में सिनेमा रहेगा, तब तक लोग."
चूतिया बनते रहेंगे।
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to beep that now, don't we? Again with this
Oh,
word through.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Now that we were talking about theaters and OTTs, so how much do you agree when I say that OTTs are a platform for indie filmmakers and it's not completely killing the theaters?
Oh, definitely, definitely, it's a very nice, very good platform for indie filmmakers.
Yes. Like for example, can you imagine a series like not this is not about movies, but let's backtrack here a bit. Can you imagine a series like either Sacred Games or Family Man getting made in mainstream? No, right? OTT can provide that platform for people to actually express their opinions while being responsible enough. For example, we all know there's this anthologies coming up in Netflix and Netflix by many Tamil famous Tamil directors, and we have seen this news about it. And even in the past, in the like maybe in 3 weeks ago, there's this movie Puthum Pudukalai by it's an anthology too. And it's directed by famous directors such as Gautam Menon, Suhasini, Maniratnam, and etc. and Sudha Kongara and etc. So actually, they even for mainstream directors, mainstream people, where previously by through cinemas there used to be a barrier called Central Board of Film Certification. Now they don't have that. Censor board is non-existent. They can't provide their opinions. They can show whatever they want. They can actually make stuff that they like rather than they are forced to. And that is OTTs are killed cinemas maybe in this lockdown period, but that is due to the coronavirus. If in any way it would kill theaters, but I guess when you are a producer from that perspective, you don't want to end up in loss, right? So they had to do what's best for them, and I agree with that. But OTT in general is not killing cinema or theaters, but as actually helping cinema progress into a new era. That's what my opinion is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're basically saying that OTT is not just a platform for indie filmmakers, it is also a platform for mainstream filmmakers to experiment with their art. Right?
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine like 9 directors or 5 mainstream directors getting it together and making an anthology that's for theaters? No,
Yeah,
they wouldn't
exactly.
even
Like
dare
last time they
to
made
do
it,
it.
last time they made it, I don't think it did really well at the box office. I guess it went by the name of Bombay Talkies,
Ah,
right?
yeah, that sucked. That sucked. Like, even our perception changes. When it's in theater, you can't relate to anthologies much. But when it's on your screen, when it's on your laptop, or when it's on your phone, you get into it more. Like, okay, theater bole to, we need to go there. We need to, spend some expenditure on fuel, spend some expenditure on tickets, spend something on food in the interval. And when we see an anthology, no matter how good it is, we can't connect to it because we almost spent like $500 for seeing an anthology. And that and that
Right.
that as an audience wouldn't go well, wouldn't go down with anyone, not even me, not even the people in here, I guess. But when it's a prepaid subscription for an let's say Prime or Netflix or Hotstar or whatever, you get to do that in your comfortable space at your home, and you get to watch it on your own pace, on your own according pace. And when you watch like that, it actually, you can actually experience it rather than worry about the money you spent watching that quote unquote shit if it's in theater.
Yeah.
I agree.
Get
I
it.
mean, plus
Like
in theater, there's so much of
like
censorship,
yeah.
so much of censorship. I mean, I remember that movie Skyfall came in. Do you guys remember that time?
Yeah.
How much
I
James
guess
Bond.
censored
it's
out?
Spectre. I guess it is Spectre, not
Yeah,
Skyfall,
yeah. So
where
expected.
they yeah they
Skyfall
Oh
is
my
into
censored
God.
the kiss
ah
scene,
yeah.
right?
No, they
Oh my
didn't
Monica
goodness.
Bellucci
censor the
and
kiss
Daniel
scene.
Craig.
They didn't censor the
Yeah.
kiss scene. He licks her back. They censored that scene. I was like,
No,
bro,
they
what?
also
What?
they censored the kiss scene. They actually cut the length of the kiss scene. Like the kiss did happen, but it was way shorter than it was actually shot.
Yeah, the sanskari amount of time for a kiss.
Can we
Not
Yeah.
all agree?
longer than this much time.
Can we all
More
agree
than
that?
that, it just becomes Ashud.
Can we all agree that censor board sucks?
Yeah, we'll
You know what?
definitely
I
do
was
that.
I have
reading this thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently people are thinking of adding censor board to OTT platforms too. I don't know.
no,
They
Yeah,
are.
they're
that is
trying to
never
do
going to
that.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
they're
bill was
trying to do
proposed,
that,
but
but
yeah,
yeah, premium membership, I don't think they can ever do that because people are paying
Yeah.
money, so they don't want a censored content.
yeah.
So
The bill did not pass. They
Okay,
proposed
okay.
under some
Oh, that's
sections.
good.
I don't remember the
And
sections, but yeah.
if it is passed, even if it is passed, the OTT, the streaming service, companies will just pack up and leave India. Like, why do
Yeah,
they
Yeah, yeah.
want to stay in a country
Of course.
yeah,
which their content is censored?
yeah. I know a case about this. There's this series called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel in Amazon.
Yes, that's an
Yeah.
amazing
So
series. That's an
yeah.
amazing.
So in that there was a scene. There were nude painters around, and there was a nude model over there. So they blurred
Yes,
out the nude part of it. So Amazon Prime had issued a warning against Amazon Prime India to not do that again, or else they're going to take their business somewhere else.
Nice.
So yeah, it's not going to happen.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good news.
Good.
So
Good. Yeah.
so we are basically all agreeing that OTT is not killing cinema, and
No,
also
definitely not.
it's actually
yeah.
helping. It's actually helping in making cinema move forward, in my opinion.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, there was this movie Agent Sai Srinivas Athreya in
Yeah.
Telugu.
Ah, yeah.
It is a very good movie. It was a phenomenal movie, and it's an indie film. So this thing I'm about to tell you, the hero Navin Polishetty told in some interview that they were literally begging for theaters to
Release
run
the
their
movie.
movie at least one show a day, and the distributors outright avoided it, quoting, "There is no big hero in this film. The cinema will not run," and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And after all this, they went and screened it at Cannes Film Festival, I think, and that movie got a standing ovation over there.
Yeah, and that movie at first released in, I don't know, like maybe 100 to 150 screens. By the end of the second week, it was
It
released
was
in almost
doubled. It was double or triple. Yeah.
1,000 screens, if I'm not wrong.
Anurag Kashyap has talked about this issue a lot, I think, in his
Yes.
interviews.
Yes.
Mm.
His films get a very nice, very good, very applauding critical response, but his movies never do well in theaters. I
Yes.
mean, yeah. I mean, Gangs of Wasseypur is still a flop on the books.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys watch the movie Lal Kaptan?
Yes, I
No.
did. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
did.
goodness, what a
It,
film.
yeah, it was like people did not like it because it was directed in a way different way, and like it was too slow maybe for them.
Too
I would
artsy for
recommend
them,
it to
quote
everyone.
unquote artsy.
I would recommend Lal Kaptan.
Yeah.
It's a very good film. It's a very good film, but I don't know the audience. I think, you see, like in this movie called, I don't know, wait, Tamasha. Tamasha, somehow people did not like Ranbir Kapoor's character. They did not understand his character. I
Yeah.
heard people telling me that, "अरे रणबीर तो इस movie में पागल है ना, कुछ भी करता है." I'm like, no, you're missing the whole point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's basically what Satyesh Dey said.
Yeah.
And Indian audience is too backward to understand.
Yeah.
I guess Tamasha was a different case. Like people did not relate to the Ranbir's character. Like he was a job doing, like he was a guy who was, stuck in this monotonous world of 9 to 5 jobs and all.
That
So I
film
guess
as
people
well,
did not relate to him very
yeah.
much, and this extra, the way Imtiaz Ali showcased his transitions, I guess that did not very much fit in with the audience in India. Like
Yeah.
I guess
can I touch it?
too extreme. Yeah, sure.
That film has a beautiful allusion. Like if you remember in the climax when Ved realizes his true passion and he grows out his hair and ties it in a headband, and the climax where that stage and all is set, right?
Yeah.
And I got that sense that Imtiaz Ali looks like that when he shoots stuff, hairband and denim. He wears denim a lot, and I thought maybe somehow Imtiaz Ali saw himself in Ved and made the character based on him. That's
Wow.
I
I never thought of that.
I got into that, maybe that perspective or that opinion or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, and to quote you to bring back Lal Kaptan, Srijita, according to my friend, quoting my friend, it's too quote unquote artsy. That's why people didn't like it a lot.
Yeah, it was directed in a much different way, and like it was something. It was a revenge drama that was not directed on the path that Lal Kaptan took. I guess that's why people were not very much interested in it, and also the promotions were not too much done.
I
Again,
agree.
they were
Promotions,
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
I think that was the
Again, they
problem.
yeah, films like even Tumbad. Tumbad is one of the
Oh my
like
God, yes.
best indie films that India has ever produced. Yet it did not catch up to the mark of that box office that is required. Like
Yeah,
if Paris-
like there is a line. See, the indie films are reaching that line, but not able to cross a line and get to greater audience. That's the
Yes.
problem.
yeah,
There
like
are
Parasite.
many, yeah. Parasite, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, like Parasite is one such film that crossed so much that it reached the Oscar and won the Oscar and created history at Oscar. Like Tumbad, don't know if it might have won the Oscar, but it definitely was a strong contender. but our selection people did not send it forward.
Yeah,
I think there are
yeah,
criteria to be
it's
nominated for Oscars.
there,
It has to be
there
played in
are
a. Yeah, go ahead, Nimavia.
it's
Yeah.
there are many political issues while selecting the Oscars. Like one, the people don't go. Our people don't send movies on the basis of people's performance or storytelling or their art. Our people send the movies based on stardom. That's the main problem over here.
Yeah,
If
they
yeah,
seriously
if
need to
yeah,
check that.
yeah, if we and most of the times, our people prefer Hindi cinema over any other language.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
But
Yeah.
yes.
the last year when we nominated Gully Boy for the Oscars, I really like Gully Boy, but there are at least a couple of more movies which could have which could have probably been nominated and won the Oscar
Super
from
Deluxe,
other
for
languages.
example.
Super Deluxe is a phenomenal movie. I absolutely love that movie. Yeah, I think that if we send Super Deluxe to the Oscars, I think it may not have won, but it
It would have
At
been
definitely would
least
be
in
in
the
the
nominated.
final.
nominations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be in the nomination.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like Quentin Tarantino fans would definitely love
Oh
Super
yeah,
Deluxe.
they would love. Yeah,
yeah.
nice observation. Yeah,
So
Yeah, and
many Pulp
being
Fiction allusions to in
yeah,
that
yeah,
movie.
yeah, and they all like stitch in the like not it's not completely following the Pulp Fiction line, but it follows the structure of that Pulp Fiction thing.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah,
See.
and
Like I said about anthologies, people like anthologies when they're connected at somehow some parts. Like you see in Super Deluxe, when that TV falls on that inspector's head, you see the kids throwing the TV before, and that's how it's connected. Like if people see that it's connected in some ways, or indirectly or even directly, people will like it if watching that on theaters, because that is something, a new concept still for people. Like I get really excited when seemingly different stories connect in weird or in a small ways, because hey, like, oh my god, this dude who didn't even meet this dude until now, are connected in somehow, some some capacity, and that's how anthologies can be, rather than making it completely separate.
Mhm. Yeah, but eventually we're like everything falls down to this simple statement that indie filmmakers are definitely not crossing that line, which
yeah,
which is
yeah,
expected from them to cross. And I guess the audience is to blame here,
yeah.
and
Definitely,
not
the
completely
audience.
filmmakers. Yeah. And with that, I guess we are at the end of our podcast. We have talked for more than 40 minutes. So yeah, and at the end, I would like to say that the OTTs not killing the cinema is very much true. That being said, films like Color Photo, which released on Ahaflix, should be
Yes.
released in theaters, because
And without
I
seeing,
have to
without
watch it.
even, yeah, and without even seeing the movie, I can say for a fact, Surarai Potro should be released in theaters rather than Amazon Prime.
yeah, like
That's
I
the
guess that will be released. Maybe I
No,
guess that will
it's
be released.
yeah,
no,
but
it's
that's the
releasing
problem
on.
now, right? It's the pandemic, so everyone
Yeah,
is relying on OTTs.
of course. I see, like I said, like to quote me before, if you see it from a producer's perspective, who invested maybe, I don't know, for example, in Surarai Potro, it might be 60-70 crores, and he wants some, he might be under some stress to pay back the dues or pay back the loans, right? So of course, if a company, if a corporate, if a
And
company, or if a company
yeah,
is coming in offering 100 or 110 crores for that, he will see the 50 crore profit, right? And he wants to sell it to the OTT and be stress free, rather than wait until God knows how long till the theaters are open and filled to capacity.
Yeah, like I know that they do not have a choice. What I was saying is Color Photo, like it it looks at the problem of glorifying the South Indian cinema, or maybe the entire Indian cinema, which is often
Yeah,
went
please,
away.
no spoilers. I haven't watched that movie.
No, it's not a spoiler. Not a spoiler. So the entire Indian cinema went on saying that ye kala hai, ye safed hai.
Mm-hmm.
This color photo film addresses that problem, and it is not a completely artsy film. It has its commercial elements, and I guess it will connect with the people. So I guess it should be released in theaters for like more people to know that problem and understand that it is not okay to call someone Kalu and make fun of him.
Guys, since it's Halloween, I'd like to recommend a few hilarious Halloween comedy movies to everyone who is hearing this, if there's any.
Sure.
One is a Thai movie. It's called Pmak, Pwmak, Pmak. It's hilarious. You guys should check it out. And watch Go Goa Gone, and another Indian
Arey,
film
Go
called
Goa
Stree.
Gone. Come on. Go Goa
I mean,
Gone.
if you guys watch these three movies, you'd love horror comedy and
And
you'd
yeah,
want to watch.
Zombieland 1 and 2 are both phenomenal movies.
Oh, yeah,
Zombieland
of
2
course, of course.
not as much, but Zombieland 1 is phenomenal.
But yeah, Zombieland 2 was still pretty good.
Yeah, comparatively, but when you see Zombieland 1 and as a sequel, it's not as good, but yeah, it's still pretty good. Zombieland 2, but Zombieland 1 is phenomenal. I fell down laughing while watching that movie, honestly.
It's a kind of pattern that sequel kind of
Yeah,
performs
sequels and
lesser
stuff.
than.
Yeah, because more is expected from that movie.
There's a lot
They
of
can't meet
pressure.
expectations. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like-
Nime Bhaiya, what are the recommendations you have for the Halloween?
I'm not really a fan of horror movies
Neither
because
am I.
they bore me.
Neither am I. I'm a fuck
I
you.
just
I'm
love
telling it on
horror
record.
comedies. That's all.
I'm telling
I
it on
cannot take.
record.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you want a nice horror movie with a good plot, I would recommend Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah, I've
Okay.
watched that.
Oh.
It's one of the
Oh my
movies.
God.
It's one of the very less horror movies that I like. It's an
Oh, no.
old movie, but
I'd like
you
to
can definitely take that.
Shining.
recommend one horror
You guys can
comedy.
watch Shining.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shining.
Shining is also a
Shining
good
is
movie.
also
I
pretty good.
prefer
That's a
Shining
great
book over
movie.
Shining movie, to be honest.
Oh, I prefer the movie.
Yeah. So, yeah, I recommend one horror comedy movie. This is a 2016 kinda indie flick, but it's called Ananda Brahma. It's a Telugu flick. It's hilarious, like really hilarious.
Yeah, I know the Tapsi Pannu one, right?
Yeah, Taapsee Pannu. Yep.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's on
I've
Z5 if
seen
I'm
it.
not wrong. It's on Z5 if you all want to check that out. It's hilarious, honestly.
Now I'll try to recommend three horror films that I like. First one being Hereditary, second The Witch, and the third is not completely horror, but it definitely gives that the fear of loneliness. The Lighthouse.
Oh, Lighthouse is a phenomenal movie. I watched it recently.
Yeah. So I guess we're at the end of our podcast. So thank you all for coming to the podcast and
Thank you
telling
so much.
us your views.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you
guys.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to do better episode next time. So yeah, for today that's it. Thank you again and good night, everyone.